Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. Yeah, the old clock says it's 5 o'clock. Beer 30. Let's go see what's in the fridge today.
Hello everybody, welcome to Gregsbeerreviews. Today's beer comes from Spider Bite Beer Company. These guys are up in New York. Well, that's what it says here on Beer Advocate, New York. But looking at the can, it says brewed and canned by Spider Bite Beer Company, Ipswich, Massachusetts. And we got some we got some discrepancies there, don't we? I'm going to believe the can before I believe these silly fools at Beer Advocate. Ipswich, Massachusetts, I think that's where Clown Shoes comes from. Clown Shoes. So I would trust the can before I would trust Beer Advocate. You can bet your sweet little eye on that. A lot of times their information is definitely wrong. So let's just say it's from Ipswich, Massachusetts. This comes to me from Dr. Jason. This is the first time this gentleman has sent me some beers, and he sent me a nice beer mail package. So, Dr. Jason, thank you very much. I never use people's last names on this because I don't know. I just don't do it, guys. If you send me beer, I'll use your first name. But I'm not going to say your last name because I don't want you to be bombarded or somebody search you out on any kind of social media and beg you for beers. So, Dr. Jason, thanks a bunch. I do appreciate it, sir. The note that he sent me an email. He didn't actually send a note with the beers, but he sent me an email telling me what he's going to send, and I printed it off. And he says on this one, he also says it's from Holbrook, New York. So, I don't know. The can says different, gentlemen. So, I don't know if they're out of New York or they're out of Massachusetts, guys. Makes no difference to me, but I would believe the can before I believe anything else. I don't know why they would put it on the can if it's not where it was from. And he writes on this description, Boris pours a black, opaque, like moonless sky over Siberia. 8 different malts bring a complex aroma and flavor of chocolate, coffee, and roasted sweetness, just in case the winter gets too cold. Hopefully we're done with that. We're already in the day is the 23rd of March. So hopefully spring technically has arrived, but it still has some chilly notes in a lot of parts of the country. Is still getting snow and cold temperatures, so it did get up into the 50s again today, and I think they're calling for close to 70 tomorrow, and I can't wait for the 7-degree temperatures. I don't like it 90 and I don't like it 30. I like 70 is very nice, very pleasant, very comfortable for this old guy. Also said, this too cold, we brewed this giant spider to 10% ABV, so grab your snifter and Ushanka, and I don't know what a Ushanka is, I'm sure somebody will tell me, and enjoy. This just won silver at the New York State Brewers Association Imperial Stout and Porter category. So, sounds impressive to me. So let's figure out what we got here in the can, guys. I'm going to take a quick look at the bottom, see if there's any kind of dating on it. And it says canned on says it was canned on 041 of 18. So this is a fairly old one here, guys. Almost a year old if that date is correct. It says 04, then it has 1. It doesn't say 01, but it does say 18. So maybe this is an April Fool's Day. April 1st of 2018, which would be almost a year in the can. So being a 10% Imperial Stout, that's not going to hurt, and I do appreciate them putting a date on it, where a lot of breweries don't. The one we had yesterday didn't have one on it. So I don't know how big the brewery is, guys, but at least they're attempting. They're telling us the ABV is 10%. It's written on the can, and they're telling us canned on it on the bottom. So that's the 2 of the 3 things that we need. The IBUs are not critical anymore, especially on this style. If they chose to put that on there, that would be additional helpful information, but it's not. So we're going to jump over to Untappd and see if they have any additional information. They don't have the IBUs or anything. And their commercial description is just what I read off the paper that Dr. Jason sent me. So we're not going to get into that. This is a big 16-ounce can with a shrunk wrap label on it. It's been heated and shrunk down to it, but it is a plain Jane simple can, so they just spent a lot of money on a fancy printed up can for this. So into the glass we go. We're going to go right down the center on this one unless it develops a monster head. Doesn't look like it's going to. It looks pitch black coming out of the can. And when it's a very aggressive pour on that, I'll set this around. Very colorful label that they've got on this beer. We've got about 1.5 fingers of head on that pour. Nice khaki colored head. Very tight bubbles on the side. A little bit bigger on the top, but it looks very creamy. Over into the light, I'm not seeing any at all, guys. It is pitch black. Black as a moonless night, as they say. Looks very good. Let's get it to the nose. Rich roasted malt. Hints of some black molasses. A little bit of coffee. Does have a fairly sweet smell to it. Doesn't say anything about being brewed with lactose, but it does have a nice sweet smell to it. Smells very pleasant. May even be some dark fruit in there once it warms up. So pretty appealing aroma on this beer. Smells very enticing, very nice. So let's dive in. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Dr. Jason. Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. So anyway, I just saw this. If anybody says, "What's your doctor say about drinking beer?" Well, Dr. Jason sent me beer, so evidently he's saying it's okay. All right, that's the way I'm going to think about it anyway. So smells pretty good. Let's dive in. Very pleasant. I am getting the rich roasted malt, hint of some bittersweet chocolate, a little bit of coffee in there. I don't think they used any coffee in the brewing process. It doesn't tell me that. Very pleasant, very nice. Alcohol seems to be very well hidden. That is absolutely delicious, guys. These breweries in New England have got it going on, guys. They really, really, really do. I am super impressed with what's going on in New England. Whether it's an IPA, a double IPA, an Imperial Stout. Very pleasant. Very, very tasty. Alright, guys, before I go off camera, I am going to try to get the rest of this into the glass. That is a tasty beer. It is very, very nice. Very well made. Very nice. Very colorful label. Got a big spider on there. Big glass of the beer on each side of him. Of course, the spiders have 8 legs, so he's got enough arms or enough legs to grab 2 glasses. Got one on each side of him. Very nice. Very nice label. And on the front of the spider there, it looks like it's got a picture of a big hop cone. Very, very nice. Very impressive label. So, and it's what I'm tasting so far. We're going to let it warm up like I always do on every beer. Seems to be very well made. Just a slight hint of some bitterness in there, but it's not overpowering or anything. It's not off-putting on the nose or the taste. Seems to be a very well made, balanced Imperial Stout. So let me sip on this one, let it come up to room temperature, and we'll come back and see where it falls in on the grade scale. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on it for a while now. Very nice slicing is left on the glass. A very tasty beer. I don't think it's quite to the 10 scale, but it is a very well made beer, a very tasty beer, a nice easy drinking for a 10%er. I am getting the roasted malt, hints of some molasses, black molasses, and bittersweet chocolate. Might be a hint of some dark fruit in there, not much. Very tasty nonetheless. Very smooth, very balanced, and since it had an April the 1st of 2018 and we're almost to April the 1st of 2019, not quite a year in the can, very close, and a very nice well made beer, very enjoyable for a final beer of the evening for me. Very nice aroma, very nice taste, very delicious. Final chug. Very, very pleasant beer, guys. Very nice. I would buy this beer if I could get it here. Date on the can, ABV on the can. Very tasty, and like I said, I think this is the first one I've had from this brewery. So Dr. Jason, thanks a bunch for sending it to me. It is a very tasty beer. You guys up in either New York or Massachusetts, wherever it's available at, because the can has Massachusetts and Beer Advocate and Untapped says New York. I don't know exactly what to think about that. I'm going to believe the can more than I am either of these two sites. And when it says Ipswich, Massachusetts on the can, that's where I think it's produced at instead of New York. But you never know. You never know. So with that being said, guys, for the style that I'm drinking, which is a Russian Imperial Stout at 10%, it's very tasty. It's not a beer. It's not a bourbon barrel or any kind of barrel aged beer, but they may make a bourbon barrel version of this, and that's the only thing I could say would probably be a little tastier to me for this guy. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm gonna give it the grade that I think it deserves, which is a 9 out of 10, 95 right down the middle of the scale. A nice A beer. Over to Beer Advocate, they say 3.89 in a very good range. I think it's a little tastier than that. It doesn't have a lot of bitterness to go with it. Kind of smooth to drink. A lot of roasted malt, bittersweet chocolate, a little bit of molasses. Very nice beer. Very nice beer. And over to Beer Advocate, Untapped, they say 3.79. So they're both giving it a B plus range, and I think it's a wee bit heavier or nicer than that, or tastier than that. So that's why I'm giving it the 9 out of 10, especially since it has the canned on date on the bottom of it and the ABV on the front of it, and it is a very smooth, easy drinking beer. So if you had this from Spider Bite Beer Company, this is the first time I've had anything from them, I think. Very well made beer. So if you can get your hands on this, you ought to pick it up. And if you've had this from those guys, let me know what you think. I enjoyed this. A great final beer of the evening for this guy. So, if you've had it, let me know what you think. Till we meet again, let's go see what's in the fridge.